It's all very well to think the meaning of life is happiness, but what happens when you're unhappy? Happiness is a great side effect. When it comes, accept it gratefully, but it's fleeting and unpredictable. Jordan B. Peterson. Life inevitably involves suffering, and to make suffering bearable, we must believe that it has purpose or will be worth it. A purpose won't necessarily bring happiness, but it will bring a sense of meaning. For a healthy psyche, you must try to cultivate faith in being. Faith is not the childish belief in magic. It is instead the realization that the tragic irrationalities of life must be counterbalanced by an equally irrational commitment to the essential goodness of being. You need to have faith in being, faith that the universe is a good place. As strange and anti-scientific as this may sound, without faith in being, you are vulnerable to sinking into cynicism, nihilism, and despair. That's bad for you and bad for the world. One of the most powerful ways we can cultivate faith in being is by not lying. When you lie, you effectively tell yourself that reality is intolerable. Only the most cynical, hopeless philosophy insists that reality could be improved through falsification. By contrast, telling the truth is extremely courageous. When you tell the truth, no matter how scary, you are telling yourself and the world, I believe that reality is not so awful that I need to hide from it. You are committing an act of faith in being. Telling the truth involves more than just speaking the truth to others. It also means not lying to yourself. A good rule of thumb is just to listen to your conscience or inner voice. If you pay attention, part of you knows when you are acting contrary to your own inner morality. Someone power-hungry makes a new rule at your workplace. It's unnecessary, it's counterproductive, it's an irritant. It removes some of the pleasure and meaning from your work. But you tell yourself it's all right. It's incredibly easy to lie to yourself. In fact, it may be your default. But by not speaking up, you become a slightly more cowardly person, and your inaction permits your workplace to become slightly more corrupt. Tune into your inner voice. When you break your own morality, you can feel it in your body. You might feel guilt or get a sinking sensation. Next time this happens, pause and pay attention to the feeling, and try to remedy the situation. Morality beats pleasure. In the absence of religion, it can be tempting to view morality as meaningless, made up, or something we must follow simply because we'll be punished if we don't. The problem with dismissing morality is that a coherent set of moral principles is key to a meaningful existence. If you act properly, your actions allow you to be psychologically integrated. You benefit yourself, your family, and the broader world around you. In a secular world, how can we find a morality that we believe in deeply? There is perhaps still one moral principle we can all agree on: that causing suffering for the sake of suffering is evil. You could try placing this principle at the top of your moral hierarchy. To act in a manner that reduces evil. Striving to reduce evil places some significant obligations on you, among them not lying, listening to your conscience, and taking a proactive, responsible attitude towards your own problems. But be careful. Striving to reduce evil does not necessarily mean you should try to sacrifice all your own needs for the sake of others. You should start with yourself and your own innate capacity for evil. You must understand that you are in part a predatory ape, and if you deny that ape its basic needs, you are likely to become resentful and angry, which leads to more evil in the long run. Ask yourself how much you can sacrifice for others, or how hard you can work, before you start to resent it. Acknowledging the limitations of your nature will lead to you becoming a better person in the long run. This insight in action. Be your own best friend. Next time you find yourself in an upsetting situation, imagine what you'd do if your friend approached you with the same problem. Write out your responses, or even say it out loud. Practice this self-kindness often, and become your own cheerleader. We build things up, then they fall apart. Humans love to build things up and create order. We build civilizations, machinery, societies, and families. However, if left alone, all the structures that humans build will deteriorate. It's a universal principle that things tend towards entropy, or that order tends towards chaos. Maintaining an acceptable state of order requires constant maintenance to combat the tendency of things to fall apart, even when the easier option is doing nothing. This maintenance thinking applies on many levels, from keeping a car running or your room organized, to stopping your society from falling into corruption. On a personal level, this comes down to stopping your close relationships from deteriorating because you're afraid of being honest with your loved ones. Of course, We can never fully combat the tendency things have of falling apart. Just when we think that life's going smoothly, something will come up to throw us into disarray. It's useful to know that this isn't life being unfair, it's just the way of the world. Nothing stays ordered forever, and if you make the effort, nothing will stay chaotic forever either. When chaos strikes, one of the best ways of re-establishing some order, or at least working on the next step, is by talking. Humans, being social animals, are not built to think by themselves inside their own heads. We think out loud. People depend on constant communication with others to keep their minds organized. We all need to think to keep things straight, but we mostly think by talking. Don't worry if what you're saying seems muddled, contradictory, or simplistic. That's a crucial part of the thought process. We often need to say things out loud before we can begin to organize them into something more coherent. This insight in action. Use the rubber duck method. If you're stuck on a problem, pick up a rubber duck and literally describe the issue out loud to it. Often, the act of saying the problem makes the next step forward clear. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss out on our latest videos. We appreciate your support and can't wait to bring you more insightful content. Thanks for being part of the community.